Hey hockey player, Coach Garner here, checking in for Season 1, Episode 7 of Ask Coach Garner. In this series, I answer all the questions that you guys submit in the YouTube comment section below. Alright, let me get after it, and don't forget, I've got 90 seconds or less to answer every single question. If I go longer than 90 seconds, Kevin hits the buzzer, I'm cut off, and I gotta go to the next one. Let's get it rolling here. Episode 7. Number 1. This one is from Crazy Trickshoter. Hey coach, can I work out the day before a practice? Yes, you can absolutely work out the day before a practice. It's not a big deal, but don't work out the day before a game. I do have a video on this YouTube channel called How to Schedule Your Training Around Your Games. You want to check out that video. It's right in our video library because I go in depth for this question. But long story short, training before a practice, A-okay. Training before a game is not okay. Before a game, you should really only ever be doing mobility work or hockey yoga. But before a practice, you can go do leg day. It doesn't much matter. All right? Moving on to the next one. This one is from Chad Hockey. Chad asks, how can you know if you are overtraining your body? Well, overtraining is something that happens over a long period of time, and your first indicator would be if you never program deloads into your programming. Look, the people out there who think they don't need to deload, you're not a special snowflake. You still fall under the principles of training. We need to abide by specificity, overload, fatigue management, variation. There are principles of training that are principles for a reason. They apply to every physiology that is playing hockey and training for hockey. Now, if you don't deload, it means you're disrespecting overload and fatigue management, which means you're disrespecting hockey training program design and not getting the best results. So never deloading is your first indicator. The second indicator is a 4-point fatigue progression. If your technique starts to falter on the ice and in the gym, that's point number 1. Point number 2 is if your performance plateaus, but still maintains. So you're still performing the same strength and reps in the gym, but it maintains. The third point of progression is when performance decreases. So you actually start getting weaker in the gym and slower on the ice. And the fourth and final point of fatigue progression is injury, because it doesn't take long for a technically misaligned athlete who's not performing properly in order to get injured. So those are two big indicators of overtraining. Got cut off there. On to the next one. Brett Yuzik. Brett, should a 12-year-old have a supplement routine and take supplements often? No, absolutely not. A 12-year-old is going to benefit just from having a healthy diet based around whole foods, getting in healthy carbohydrates, healthy fats, and good lean proteins. The only supplements that could be viable for a 12-year-old would be an omega-3 supplement, because it's likely that that 12-year-old is not having enough servings of wild salmon per week in order to suffice, and some whey protein and carbohydrate powder. And this would just be used during and after games or during and after workouts. Carb powder, whey protein isolate, omega-3 are really the only things. Anything outside of that is not necessary until after 16 years old. Next one is from Nick O. Nick O asks, what is your opinion on chicken fried rice? The one I eat sometimes is from Whole Foods Market. Well, it's not necessarily, listen, foods don't make you healthy or unhealthy. Foods also don't make you a good hockey player or a bad hockey player. Diets are what determine if you're healthy or not, and diets are what determine if you are going to improve your hockey performance or not. So don't look at the lens of a single food or a single meal, because what matters most is the context of your entire diet. If you are working this chicken fried rice into the macronutrient split that you should be having every day to support your goals, meaning how many grams of protein, carbohydrates, and fats should you be having to achieve your goals, which you can find out at hockeytraining.com/nutrition. If you work that meal into that, you're A-okay. But looking at a meal by itself has no impact. It's always what's going on in the context of a whole. Next question here is Martin. Martin, he's 19 years old, stick handling 30 minutes every day, 3 practices, and 2 to 3 gym workouts per week. Where should I focus on in my gym workouts? Well, you're 19, so you can do advanced training, and you're in the gym 2 to 3 times per week, which means you've got a pretty low training frequency right now. So I would be focusing on total body sessions because you don't have the luxury of doing, say, an upper body vertical press day, and then an upper body horizontal press day, and then an upper body pull day, followed up by lower body posterior chain and lower body quad dominant. Like this would be a larger split, 5 to 6 training days if you add your tempo runs, your speed, your conditioning on top of that. You're adding a lot more. Since you're only training 2 to 3 times per week, I wouldn't recommend doing a muscle split and instead just opt straight for total body training. But as far as you asking me what should I focus on in my gym workouts, you got to focus on everything, man. Hockey athletes are the hybrid athlete. You got to be fast, you got to be agile, you got to be conditioned, you got to be strong, you have to have a good shot, you have to have balance, you have to have all those things. So I would definitely recommend going to hockeytraining.com/programs and getting on a real program, because the truth of the matter is you have to focus on everything. And if you're only training 2 to 3 days per week, that makes your training intelligence all that much more important. Moving on to the last and final question of episode 7. We've got Peppi Hockey36. Peppi Hockey36 asks, I am a freshman in high school and I've been injured twice this year. What workouts can I do to get my speed, power, and upper body strength back? And what can I do to stay injury-free, like shoulder workouts to prevent collarbone breaking? Well, in the developmental stage of adolescence, your collarbone is a lot more susceptible to being broken than when you're younger or when you're older. It's something that during this structural growth phase, it is susceptible. So you'll see a lot of hockey athletes break their collarbone. You see a lot of football athletes break their collarbone. You see a lot of people going through this developmental stage break their collarbone. Lots of times it's because shoulder stability and shoulder balance issues. Shoulder stability means strengthen the rotator cuff. So you should be doing external rotations, internal rotations, and then also external rotations from a horizontal perspective and not just a vertical perspective. Things like dumbbell Cuban press are another great exercise to help promote shoulder stability and strengthen the rotator cuff. Elbow on knee external rotations with dumbbell is another great exercise to help prevent injury, as well as one of the best ones is your rope face pull. And I just talked about strengthening the balance of the stability of the shoulder, but when it comes to strengthening the balance of the shoulder, too many of us are bench pressing a lot and then not structurally balancing out our upper back in the process. That will result in a shoulder injury. So you should be doing twice as much back work as you are pressing work in order to ensure your posterior chain stays injury-free moving forward in your hockey career. Lots of rope face pulls, lots of barbell rows, lots of chin-ups. All right? Okay, you guys. I answered all your questions here, but I know you guys have so much more questions for me, and I want to help you specifically. So you ask me a question, and I will answer it for you. Hit me up in the YouTube comment section below, and we'll turn it into a future Ask Coach Garner episode. If you liked this episode or you learned something from it, do me a favor and smash the thumbs up button, and also subscribe to this channel. If you guys are interested in any of the training programs we have that I've created for all these specific goals, go to hockeytraining.com/programs. I got a ton of stuff for you. And last but not least, if you want a completely free, relentless conditioning package, then you gotta click on the link in the comment section below. Let's go.